Alright, so plan for today is pretty simple. Figure out what's going on with the crosswalk right next to the Yum Yum Alley space anchor, cause for some reason, these signals ain't working properly. This is about as simple as a crosswalk can get, being on a single road with no intersection, which means the signal should be simple as well. But somehow, it's fucked here. So, let's find out why. Ligus, break it down for me, please. First things first, we need to figure out the cycle lengths for both the stoplight and the crossing, which we can define as the time it takes for one to go from red to green to red again. To do this, we'll fast travel in from a different map and start a timer on the first frame after loading is done. Then, it's simply a matter of watching both and keeping track of which cycle each is on, and when each change occurs. Here's an example of what that looks like. And here's the data for 10 cycles of each one. We can immediately see the problem. There's a mismatch between the cycle lengths. The crossings is 1 minute and 25 seconds, and the stoplights is 1 minute and 50 seconds. Okay, good and all, but how do we know which one is right? Easy. Just watch what the cars and NPCs do. Great. Now we know that the crossing is the one that's wrong. But before we poke around and try to find out why it is, let's talk error. Let's start with the most important thing. Where are the errors in the data? You might think that they're in the full cycle column, but that has the sum of the errors, not the raw values. This is because errors only occur whenever the internal timer for these signals sends out an event that tells them to change colors. And in a full cycle, 2 of these changes occur for a crossing, and 3 occur for a stoplight. If you've got a keen eye, then you'll notice a small issue in the data. I fucked up and didn't measure the right interval for the stoplight. Green to red is the sum of green to yellow and yellow to red, so it can't be used for error analysis. And while the correct thing to do would be to spend the 10 odd minutes it'd take to fix this issue and getting the proper intervals, I, unfortunately, can't be bothered right now. So, for the following analysis, I'll only be using the crossings data and will be ignoring the stoplight, and every time I mention error, assume it's the error in these values. With that out of the way, if we assume that the true cycle length for the crossing is in fact 1 minute and 25 seconds, we can point out the errors in the data. All errors occur in steps of either 16 or 17 milliseconds, but never 16 twice in a row, and the error range is likely between -17 to +34 milliseconds. The first part is easier to explain. It's due to how a millisecond timer works when footage is at 60 frames per second. 60 FPS means each frame spends 0.016 repeating seconds on screen, or 16 2/3 milliseconds. This inevitably ends up needing to be rounded when displayed, and to round it is simple. Round down once, 16 milliseconds, then up twice, 17 milliseconds, and repeat. As for why the range is -1 to +2 frames, I don't know. From my understanding of what I think the implementation of the internal timer is, it being late is possible, and in fact is actually the expected result most of the time, but it should never be early. I only had HSR and OBS running during all recordings, so something in either those two or micro slop win shit is causing this. Or maybe it's something else entirely. I don't know. And I don't think I ever can know. So, instead of waffling about and saying more random shit I'd be pulling straight out of my asshole, let's just go with the flow and accept this as the error, okay? Good. Okay, first up, let's check if the cycles are consistent. As in, when loading into the map, are the timings of the signal changes consistent? This isn't the most crucial thing ever, so I'll go over it briefly. Basically, the signal changes are consistent, but only within the same session. I initially thought the issue was due to the camera. Pulling it out would cause the game to lag a bit, thus causing the timer to be delayed. So I did another 4 runs where I used the camera, and it was actually slower, but there were 2 problems. The numbers were still way off from the original run used to test for cycle lengths, and were the same as the runs without the camera from the same session. So, yeah. The numbers vary a bit between each session, but the important part is that they're all in error within the same one. Next. We've only looked at the Yum Yum Alley intersection so far. What about the other 4 in the map? We can pick out a few things from these. 1. Yes, I only did 3 full cycles instead of the 5 I prepped the tables for. Hey, my bad. Who could have guessed that staring at the video game's stoplights and crossings was boring as fuck? Either way, 3 cycles was enough to see the patterns, like 2. For any intersection, the cycle lengths for every signal in it are all the same, and 3. No other signal, be it a crossing, a stoplight, or a turn signal, has the same cycle length as the Yum Yum Alley crossing. None of them even have the same red to green and green to red intervals. Therefore, if every other crosswalk works as intended, with no signal having the same cycle length that the bugged one has, which itself is consistently wrong, then why is it like this? The answer is likely the most boring option. Someone put in the wrong numbers. Maybe the stoplight's cycle length was changed and someone forgot to update the crossing, or there was a miscommunication about which cycle length was correct, or someone just had a stroke while coding this. We'll never know. And that's about it. You can sum up this whole thing as the crosswalk outside Yum Yum Alley is bugged, its pedestrian crossing is out of sync with its stoplight, which functions properly. The crossing's cycle length is 1 minute and 25 seconds, while the stoplight's is 1 minute and 50 seconds, and the cause is likely due to someone putting in the wrong values. So, conclusion, I guess. Hoyo, police fix. Dawei, Shaoji, an unpaid intern, anyone. Please fix this. It's bugging the absolute shit out of me. Thank you. Huh? What do you mean we're not done? There's an issue in the Yum Yum Alley data. Okay. Let me check. Ah, you're right. Both of those are out of the error range, especially that 10th one. Did I fuck up the timing? Well, I can time it again. Actually, I have 30 minutes of this recorded, so I might as well check a few more cycles while I'm at it. That's That's, not a good sign. What about the crossing? Oh, fuck. No, wait, hold up. We know Yum Yum Alley specifically is bugged, right? So this shouldn't be too surprising. This is probably just another bug. We should still check the other ones too, but I doubt they'd do the same. Of course. After 17 minutes of happily chugging along, every crosswalk will, naturally, shorten their cycle lengths by different amounts. Must just be how things are in not Japan, I guess. But, now what? I'd love to extrapolate the Yum Yum Alley or single street data to, like, 3 hours or whatever, to try and find a pattern. But I only have 30 minutes of Yum Yum Alley and 20 minutes of everything else. And, unfortunately, I'm currently very sick with a horrifying disease that affects many worldwide. Lazy bonitis. And can't be fucked to time any more crosswalks right now, so that's not happening. However, there is one more thing we can do. If the cycle lengths consistently continue dropping every 17 odd minutes, then there should be a point at which they become so short that any car or NPC waiting at the crosswalk will be stun-locked and unable to ever move past it. We can calculate how long that would roughly take. If we assume the Yum Yum Alley stoplight, as it's the correct one, consistently gets 0.35 seconds faster every 17 minutes, then it should take around 89 hours to reach half a second cycles, which I think should be fast enough to perma-stun anything. But sitting around watching a stoplight for over 3 days straight without verifying the pattern first doesn't seem like the greatest idea ever. So how about waiting 24 hours instead, and we'll see how much faster it got by then. Yeah? See you in a day. Okay. Been about 24 hours since I've been sitting at this fucking phone booth. It's currently 5 AM. Better get this done quick. Okay, hear me out. This might have been my fault. As you saw from the little clip I just showed, the game was looking like straight booty butt cheeks. And that's because I cranked every setting down to the lowest before I parked myself at that phone booth for the day. Shit, have you seen the prices of GPUs right now? It is fucking dire these days. And oh my god, I got absolutely jump scared last year while playing Arc Raiders. Oh, that's bad. Anyways, one of the settings I turned down was environmental detail, which, to me, sounds like the one that would most likely affect the signals. To verify this, we gotta do some testing, and there's 2 ways to go about it. One is to keep all the settings the same, reload the game, and record like a 5-minute clip to see if the cycle lengths are still in line, and the other is to set environmental detail to very high and raw dog another 24 hours. Now, which one did I do?
Okay, chairs.
Right. This means a couple of things. 1. No setting in the options menu affects a signal's internal timer. And I just wasted another whole fucking day sitting around doing nothing. And 2. A signal's cycle length, after initially going faster, will, at some point, suddenly get slower. And the only way to find out what's going on is to actually record a full fucking day of the stoplight. No, no, please, there's no fucking way. Heard you got a family, huh? Beautiful wife and 2 kids, right? Oh, no, don't worry about it. I just overheard you earlier. Don't worry. Anyways, I think it'd do you good to be a bit more careful on your way home tonight. Heard that a certain, Muhammad and Karim have been roaming around these parts. And I'd feel terrible if something bad happened to you. Stay safe out there, brother. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so this part's basically a confessional, cause, to be honest, I gave up after half an hour. I didn't even record a full 24 hours too. I only did 12. Look, the issue with the Yum Yum Alley one is that, because it's bugged, it basically doubles the amount of time it takes to time it compared to if it wasn't. Because if it wasn't, then the stoplight and crossing would change at the same time. Since they don't, I have to watch twice as much footage as I would have otherwise, and I don't want to fucking do that. However, because every crosswalk speeds up by roughly the same percentage, any other crosswalk can be used to test this, and there happens to be one other crosswalk that's just a stoplight and crossing on a single street. This one. So, fuck the Yum Yum Alley one. I'm timing this. See you in another 24 hours. Fucking hell. Where's that coming from?
Cool, man.
Oh. Yeah, I deserve this. You know, I don't even know how I got to that fucking reasoning earlier. Why do I need to keep track of both signals? The crossing's wrong anyways, so what's the point of timing it? Oh, whatever. We're here now. Can't put it off any longer, I guess. Wait. What? Where's the footage? No. Don't tell me. Oh my god. Here you go. The data for all 765 full cycles the stoplight at the Yum Yum Alley crosswalk goes through in a little over 24 hours. As for the results, this is where the speed-ups happen, and this is when the slowdowns happen. It almost looks like there's a pattern. Every 17-ish minutes, doubling every time, the timer swaps between speeding up and slowing down. However, that requires a speed up at around cycle 38 though, so maybe not. And maybe there's more to it, but I think I've just about hit my limit for this. You can figure out the rest. If you need me, I'll be on the roof. Just chilling, watching the sunset, sipping on a nice little pina colada. Might even call in a hooker or two, or 10. Who knows? But I'll definitely just be chillin'.